Welcome, and thank you for joining us for The Firm Explained by Legal Trade Academy. In this episode, Inside the Firm, Power, Responsibility, and Confidentiality, we examine how professional authority is governed inside legal organizations. Before we begin, a brief note about the purpose of this series. The Firm Explained is designed for general education and professional enrichment. It does not provide job training or certification. In this episode, we explore 5 ideas: authority, access, privacy, discipline, and consequences. Our series relies on the Columbo effect, where noticing details becomes a habit, because an overlooked detail can reveal how everything works or why it does not. When people hire a lawyer, they often think they're simply seeking advice, a conversation, a recommendation, what to do next. But legal representation often involves something much greater than guidance: authority. Lawyers are granted authority over decisions affecting freedom, finances, and futures. They are granted authorization to review information that is generally kept private. Privacy and authority create responsibility. How much can a single legal decision affect someone's life?
A single legal decision has the potential of immeasurably affecting someone's life. When you decide to get married, take out a car loan, lease an apartment, and so forth, you may understand that you're making a big life decision. But it's easy to miss that you're also making a legal decision. For example, if you sign a lease for an apartment, that's a legal document that you're signing. And by signing, you now have access to a home, which greatly affects your quality of life. And by signing, you're committing to pay rent, which may greatly affect your wallet. And if you can't pay the agreed rent, or you violate the terms of your lease, you may be evicted, which is a legal process that can greatly and negatively affect your life. And that's why, for those big life decisions that are also legal decisions, people will sometimes retain lawyers to review things like prenups, loan contracts, divorce settlement agreements, etc., so that they wouldn't be too adversely affected if things don't work out.
When consequences are real, discipline becomes essential. When discipline is essential, safeguards follow. Protections are built into legal practice: ethical standards, confidentiality obligations, professional oversight. Because without safeguards, confidential information becomes exposed, unrestricted. What does it take to use authority responsibly inside a firm?
It takes a lot of good judgment, a good understanding of the firm's responsibilities towards the client, and the people working at the law firm holding each other accountable. Because a law firm is made up of people, and people can make mistakes, it's important to be deliberate when making decisions, and it's important to be intentional when using the authority given to the law firm by the client. It's really important that everyone at the firm hold each other to a high standard of integrity and responsibility, because by doing so, you can lessen the chance of such authority being used irresponsibly.
Confidentiality governs how sensitive information moves through a law office. It defines who may access it, how it may be used, and when it may be shared. Knowing their information will be protected allows clients to speak openly with those representing them. Clients disclose information they might otherwise keep private. That openness allows legal professionals to do their work effectively. However, protecting that level of personal information requires discipline throughout the organization. Lawyers, staff, and administrative professionals all share responsibility for how it's handled. What ensures that such vital authority is used responsibly?
Attorneys are bound to a code of ethics, and inside a law firm, there are usually guardrails in place so that the attorneys act ethically and use their authority responsibly. There's usually a policy manual outlining the limits of how much authority an attorney can exercise and the responsibilities of said authority. the staff at a law firm are also held to a high standard of ethics and responsibility to ensure that this authority is not misused. Inside a law firm, both attorneys and staff are trained to address or report anything that may seem amiss, because attorneys and staff understand that the client hired them with the expectation that the firm and all of its employees will act in the best interest of the client.
Supervision, documentation, and professional rules reinforce the careful handling of sensitive information. When the Columbo effect is applied, clients see composure, preparation, and control. But that's only the surface. Mishandling sensitive information carries serious consequences. Cases collapse, clients are harmed, lives change. This is why responsible discipline in handling sensitive information matters inside a firm. What should people understand about the authority granted to legal professionals when hiring an attorney?
First, people should understand that when they're hiring an attorney, they're doing so for a specific purpose. When you hire an attorney, that attorney doesn't represent you in every and any situation. For example, if you hire an attorney to represent you in a divorce proceeding, they don't have authority to represent you in a real estate transaction or a probate case unless you specifically authorize them to do so. The second thing is that when you do hire an attorney, although they may run big decisions or big drafts by you and ask for your input, collaborate with you, they do have the authority to make certain procedural or strategic decisions without asking you each time an issue pops up. For example, during litigation, they will add deadlines to their calendars, make decisions as to whether they need to file or not file certain documents like notices. They may schedule calls to speak with opposing counsel about the timing of the case, decide which rules or cases to cite in the filings, and so forth. Third, when you retain an attorney, you'll have to be honest with them and share documents with them that you may have otherwise kept secret from other people. If you're a part of a lawsuit, attorneys will need to review your private, confidential, and sometimes embarrassing documents. They need to have the authority to review and decide which of your documents are relevant to the case, which are helpful, and which may be damaging. But of course, the attorneys and staff members are required to follow strict procedures to maintain confidentiality of the documents that you share with them.
Responsible legal organizations are defined by how they protect the trust placed in them. Thank you for joining us for Inside the Firm: Power, Responsibility, and Confidentiality. This episode is part of The Firm Explained, a series created for general education and professional enrichment. You may contact us at info@legaltradeacademy.com.